Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri, and is the world's first single barrel only liquor store. This store is owned and operated by Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot. Get signed up for their email distribution list to find out when the store will be opening, what their hours will be, and most importantly, what they will have in inventory at abvbarrelshop.com. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebartogo.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show. What stood out for me about this one, because we're interviewing Eric Downs, a distiller for Limestone Branch, and Derick Mattingly, the guy who does the cocktail program at Limestone Branch. And what I thought was totally unique about this one is these aren't the faces of the brand or anything like that. These are frontline people, hardworking individuals at the distillery. And I thought it was just a little bit different take on what we typically do, or most things do. You know, you're not having a lot of podcasts or live meetings with individuals like this, but these are people that are very important to the business. And I thought it was a fun interview. Didn't you two?
Yeah. They're both great. And the thing about like Limestone Branch, it doesn't matter who you talk to that works there. They're always so genuine and so knowledgeable. Like, every single person that works there. Yeah.
I think that's got to start with Steve Beam. When you work for someone like Steve Beam, you can't be a jerk yourself. I mean, he's such a nice guy. So you just fall in line, right, Justine? I mean, you're working for somebody like that. That guy's a gem. You're going to be a good person yourself.
Yeah, like you're always going to be. I can't imagine anybody working at Limestone Branch ever being in a bad mood.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Steve Beam is, and we talk all the time about how nice the bourbon industry is and the individuals are. Steve Beam is a standout guy within one of the nicest industries I know of. And he's just an incredibly, great person. He's genuine. He cares. And, he comes on stuff, does stuff with us all the time. I mean, he doesn't have to do that. He's a big name. But yeah, he's just a good dude. Justine, he gets up to your world a lot because the crazy stat, he'll share that with you. Their top selling market, of course, is Kentucky. But after that, their number 2 state where they sell Limestone Branch is Michigan. So for some reason, Michigan just loves what they do up there.
Yeah. He's in, I don't think I've ever seen him in the Lansing area, but he is in Detroit and Grand Rapids quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So very cool stuff. So there you go. Here's our interview with Eric Downs and Derick Mattingly of Limestone Branch.
Let's drink!
Our first guest has trained under Steve Beam, where he learned the art of distilling. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Eric Downs. Hey, Eric, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, good. Thank y'all for having me.
Absolutely. So glad to be able to talk to you, learn a little bit more about what you are doing these days at Limestone Branch. Of course, we always like to start with just kind of a casual lead into our interviews. And so wanted to ask you about, some of the favorite concerts that you've been to. What are some of the favorite music concerts you've seen?
I don't go to many music concerts. I think I've been to a Garth Brooks concert when I was younger, and a Brooks and Dunn concert.
Ouch. Country stuff. Oof.
Yeah. Brooks and Dunn's great live.
Nowadays, I don't listen to music really. It's mainly podcasts.
So, podcasts, yes. Our shows? Hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's good to hear. So, you don't get out and get to go to many concerts. So, yeah, maybe.
I'm always here. I'm always here.
Understandable. So how did you get started at Limestone Branch? What brought you to the distillery when you got beginning there?
So my family growing up, we were always, all my brothers, my mom, my dad, I've got uncles, aunts, all of them are in the industry. So naturally, whenever it was time for me to get a job, I did anything but bourbon. I wanted to rebel and do something different. So I went into automotive, did that for about 10, 11 years. And one day I wanted to change, drove by here, saw the sign saying they were hiring. So I just pulled in and stopped in to talk.
Really? So just that simple, huh? And and you work for Steve Beam. So tell us what it's like working for that guy, because we love Steve Beam. I feel like there's just not a nicer person around than that guy.
Yeah. Working with Steve is like an amazing perk. You know, he's so knowledgeable for one, and he can tell you why things work, the best way to do things. He's got all the history, the family history and things that he can tell you about. And secondly, he's kind of a celebrity, you know. So whenever I first walked in and met him, it's always just been really nice learning from him. Like, who else can you learn from other than a Beam?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And so you find him to be a good teacher, a good mentor?
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Of course, you work with one of the biggest characters from the world of bourbon, Mr. Stephen Fonte. Tell us what he's at the distillery.
So actually, Fonte was the first one I met.
Really?
When I came here, I walked in the door that first day. He greeted me, and I immediately felt like I'd known him forever. He's what I would kind of describe as a master storyteller with a bourbon enthusiast, kind of paired together. So anything he talks about is interesting. He can engage any audience. It's just such a pleasure being able to work with him. And you know, I know that the customers and guests always love being able to spend some time with him as well.
Yeah, he commands a room, doesn't he? I mean, just
Oh
the way
my gosh.
even the way he talks, but then of course he has all the knowledge and the great stories and stuff like that. So you know, there's just not a better presence in a room than Stephen Fonte.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And totally different than Steve Beam. Steve Beam has all the great family history and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Equally as interesting as Stephen Fonte, but just totally different presentation style, very low key, you know, and whereas Stephen Fonte is kind of over the top, this big, huge personality, you know, when you see him. So fun stuff.
Yeah, Steve will 100% be there to talk to people and offer up his wisdom. But you know, if you're not looking, you may not notice that he's there.
You're right.
You know, but you may not notice you're in a room with a celebrity. Fonte is a celebrity, and everybody knows it.
you're not going to get home at the end of the night and someone's going to be like, "Did you notice that one guy telling the story?" Yeah, Fonte's telling the story. You're going to hear it.
Exactly.
I was at an event recently where he was at, and it's so funny because he was there as kind of the featured guest, but wherever he went, whether he was standing where he's supposed to stand or he went to go get a drink, he's got a circle around him and he's telling stories. You know, he stops and then wherever he stops, there's a whole group starts gathering around him and he starts talking. So
yeah, people are drawn to him.
Yeah.
Just drawn to him.
Yeah. We got individuals like McNew and Justine here always say, you know, he's so great at speaking. They would go to an event where he was reading the phone book or something like that. Yeah.
100%.
I would even buy tickets. Do you request that? I'm there.
They would purchase a ticket to an event. Stephen Fonte reads the phone book, and yes, they show up for that. So that's
one of the perks of my job is where I sit usually, and where I'm usually working, I can hear his tours as he's coming through. So it's an amazing part of the day to hear how he interacts with everybody and engages everybody. You know, you might get a bunch of different types of people coming in, but he can engage them all. He can get everybody interested, and by the time they're done, they're all excited to sample the bourbon and go up into the gift shop and buy them something. Yeah.
He's literally that good for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I know as a distiller, there's no such thing as a normal day. Everything's going to vary day to day to day. But, you know, if we had to pin you down and say kind of what if we had to look at something, what we might consider a normal day, what does that look like for you?
With us, you know, we are kind of a skeleton crew. You know, we run very lean operation here. So for standard day for us, we're going to do everything from receiving grain, then receiving grain inspections. We mill it, we cook it, ferment it. We're going to do all of our fermentation checks throughout.
What time are you getting there in the morning? What time you arrive?
I arrive at about 6 in the morning. So
okay.
We work 6 in the morning to 6:30 at night, and then we have a night shift that'll do 6 at night to 6:30 in the morning. So
wow.
We keep everything running. You know, we're small operation. We got to maximize what we have, so it's a 24/7 operation.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty exciting. So
yeah, and it's really interesting to be able to have your hand into everything like that. You know, you're able to learn, and that's where Steve can really shine as a mentor and a teacher. Is he can kind of help you learn each individual aspect. We're not just specializing in one area of like fermentation or just barreling or aging. You know, we're having to kind of be a master of all.
Right. Yeah, that's very cool. All right. Well, at this point in the interview, I turn it over to my co-host, Stephanie McNew, and she asks a question of our guest. So, McNew, what do you got for Eric here?
Yeah, so I'm going to throw it back to one of our intro stories. Eric, if you could age a barrel of whiskey anywhere, like on a boat or a plane, anywhere that's not normal ground, what would you choose?
Oh, here we go.
Oh my gosh. So to be honest, I'm usually very leery of
non-traditional. Yeah.
Right. I kind of think that the old way is usually the right way.
Right.
And when we try to do things in new ways, what we're really inventing is new gimmicks, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The old timers that started way back when, they knew more than most people nowadays give them credit for. If we can get back to our roots, I really feel like generally we're going to be better off. Outside of that, I would be kind of interested in a little bit of shorter rickhouse storage. I like the shorter stuff, shorter rickhouses. Like, my dad retired from Four Roses, so we always had Four Roses in the house. I know Four Roses, they keep their rickhouses just a little bit lower. That's about the only gimmick really that I have is a lower rickhouse storage.
Well, just lower rickhouse. Very cool.
Yeah,
very cool. So recently, Limestone Branch announced the release of the original recipe of Yellowstone. What can you tell us about that product?
So first off, they're going to get me in trouble with my wife because I keep buying bottles. And every time they come out with a new bottle, she's going to kick me out. I had to buy the Landmark edition. So when I came home with all of those bottles, she wasn't happy. This original recipe bottle is absolutely beautiful. And the product inside it, to me, is really special. It's a 6-year bourbon. It's what we've ran here on our small pot still that we had, that 150-gallon pot still that we ran. And the really special part about it is the original recipe that was rediscovered in Guy Beam's notebooks. So we have a tie back to history there. We know that Guy Beam wrote those notes himself, Steve's grandfather. And just a little cherry on top of all that, the yeast strain that we're using is also Steve's great grandfather's original yeast strain that we recovered from that donut jug. So I really like tying back to the past and looking into the way things were done before, so that we can make a product that down the road and in the future is worthwhile.
Yeah. One of the things that I look forward to every year is the Yellowstone limited edition release in the fall. Tell us a little bit about the process, how that works. Like, for example, is 2022 ready to go, or is it something that you're working on during this part of the year and then it is bottled and ready to go later in the year? How does it work?
So it's an opportunity for Steve to really use his creativity, and a lot of that he'll keep under his hat.
Right.
So it goes through the year. He's kind of researching, testing. once we come closer into the fall, it gets pretty hectic around here because then we're putting into action, getting back what we had put back for him for that, getting it bottled, getting it ready for sales.
Yeah.
So for the gift shop, at least, it's always very interesting around here when the limited comes out. I believe that the limited this year, I don't have a lot of details on it. It is kind of in the works coming through. And I think that one of the little tidbits of information I can give, I think they're trying to do a Marsala Superior cask finish on the bourbon.
Yeah.
So Steve was trialing some of that, and he really liked how that complemented the bourbon flavors.
That's cool. That's very interesting to hear. So yeah, can't wait for that one. It's like I said, always a favorite. The only thing I don't like that's going on, it's getting tougher and tougher to find. It used to be one you could automatically get every year. No worries at all. I'm going to be able to get this one. And the last couple of years I have got it, but it's been a struggle. It's been hard. So yeah. Absolutely. Which is good. It's good and bad. I love the fact things are going well and people appreciate what you guys are doing. I just, on a personal basis, want to make sure I get a bottle. So yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, as small as we are, it's hard to get these limited editions in the quantities that all of us would like to get, so that they can get out there to a wider audience.
Yeah.
But we usually have a decent crowd coming through the distillery. It's usually available here in the gift shop. At least for a little bit right after release. So it gives people a little bit of time. As long as they're willing to drive a little way to get to us, they can usually get a bottle as long as they kind of get on it as soon as it releases.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Steve Beam, obviously, besides, being a distiller there, he also represents the brand. So he's traveling, he's out and about. So what's it like, working with him when he's out on the road, doing his job or, that type of thing, representing the brand?
So, he does stay very busy with his travel, with his representation of the brand and all that. The good thing for us here, we kind of have a pretty good rigid schedule of our production. So it kind of runs itself as long as everybody does what they're supposed to do,
Right.
So for the most part, we kind of are self-sustaining. If we ever did have an emergency, it's kind of like a bat phone here. We got a beam phone. We can give him a call at any time. He's always available. He's always willing to help us. So when we do need him, I give him a call. He gives us direction on what he thinks needs to be done. But for the most part, he set up a system that works pretty well.
Yeah. That's cool. And I guess he has to, when you're running 24 hours a day, obviously, even as great as Steve Beam is, he can't be there 24 hours a day. So he has to set up a great system. So it sounds like he's got things figured out though. So that's good to hear.
Absolutely.
So, Limestone's also known for its experiments, and you guys usually have several of those available at any given moment in the gift shop. And it's kind of fun part of the tour too, when you go and you get to see all the small barrels, in the storage container in the back. So tell us what that part of the job is like. What's it like doing these experiments and coming up with these ideas?
Oh, it's probably one of my favorite parts of the job. Bourbon in itself is kind of a creative process. You kind of have to care about the end product. You're putting in a lot of hard work to make something that down the road, years later, somebody's either going to taste that product and say, I can really tell somebody put some care into this, or they're going to taste it and be like, that wasn't really all that great. And in the smaller batches that we're doing, we're able to experiment with a lot of different grains. So, we use some caramel malted barley, some chocolate malted barley, making some really interesting flavors that people seem to really like. And we actually did a few of those small barrels about a year ago where we used a Munich yeast in one of our wheated bourbons. So I'm really interested to see how that's going to turn out. And, if I was at another place, I may not be able to experiment as much like that. So it lets you get a real nice creative outlet there.
Yeah. I think that would have to be one of the best parts of the job. The ability as a distiller to explore and do other things And, and the fact that you guys have a process, a way to sell those then, to market them through the gift shop. And, if they're great, you can explore what can we do with this? Can it become a regular item, that type of thing? And, I think that even some of your regular items have come from, experimentation, which is kind of cool. So.
Yeah. And you tend to learn more when you're experimenting like that.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it a little bit in depth on your learning. So whenever you come out the other end and you've made something that is great, you've learned something about the process. If you make something that's not very good, Steve's usually quick to correct your methodology.
Yes. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. All right. Last question. We always like to end on a fun one too. So kind of put aside all the bourbon talk and the chat and all that, and just ask about your life in general. So this one, again, I don't even know if you're a sports fan or not, but if you are, what is your favorite sports team?
So for sports, everyone here, it's kind of a running joke. I don't really watch a lot of sports either. Usually after the big football games and stuff and basketball games, everybody will come in and want to celebrate a win of a local team, and I'm usually the one that's like, I didn't watch the game. So I'm kind of the wet blanket whenever they're coming in ready to celebrate a Super Bowl win or a college football win or something. But I'm more of a baseball fan.
Okay.
I really enjoy going to watch the Louisville Bats and the Cincinnati Reds. So I know baseball is not a popular sport for a lot of people because they say it's kind of a slow-paced game. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Baseball's good. I mean, you got the wrong team. It should be the St. Louis Cardinals. So we'll work on that aspect of it, and then we'll be good to go, man. Yeah,
absolutely.
All right. Well, Eric, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Please stick around. We'll let you share, contact information and social media or company stuff, whatever you want to share at the end of the interview. Okay.
Awesome.
All right. What we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking to Derick Mattingly. We'll do that in just a few. Let's talk about the people who make these shows happen. First up is the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is owned and operated by Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot in the greater St. Louis area. It is the most unique shopping experience in the world of bourbon, as the ABV Barrel Shop only focuses on single barrels. We aren't open just yet, but our plan is to have the most diverse single barrel offerings from our many friends in the world of bourbon. By signing up for a weekly email, you will know our entire inventory we have on hand. In addition to single barrels, we'll have a tasting bar and a gift shop featuring logo merchandise for both the shop and the ABV network, as well as a full curriculum of bourbon education classes. Additionally, we'll use the gift shop to feature products from our partners in the world of bourbon, companies like Art Eatable Chocolates and Old Man Bay Signs. Head over to ABV Barrel Shop to sign up for our email and text distribution list so you can stay in the know. Hi, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent visits to Kentucky. Today, he's leading the way for young distillers making their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery combines family history, a look at what makes their products unique, and of course a tasting through their whiskeys, moonshines, and creams. Check them out at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com and visit them in Sparta, Kentucky.
I'm McNew. Don't mix your grain and grapes. Not a good time. You're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
Our next guest runs the cocktail program at Limestone Distillery. And oh, by the way, it's a pretty great program. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Derick Mattingly. Hey, Derick, how you doing, man?
Pretty good. You?
I'm doing good as well. Yeah, looking forward to chatting with you. Like I said, always enjoy spending time down at the distillery, seeing you. And yeah, you make up some pretty good cocktails. I'll say that, my friend.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So again, we always like to kick things off with something that has nothing to do with the bourbon talk or the cocktails or anything like that. And we're going to ask you, do you like to travel? And if so, where do you like to go when you do some traveling?
Don't really do a whole lot of traveling. So I've got 3 kids and active. I've got a competitive gymnast.
Okay.
I have a actor, and then the little boy, he ain't into nothing right now. So they're always on the go doing gymnastics. Or my gymnast also does cheerleading. My actor also, she plays basketball. So we've got a play to go to, or a ball game to go to, or a gymnastic competition or something like that. But we do at least try to go once a year. We'll try to take a family vacation, and that's usually we like the beach. So we'll head down to Destin, Florida, spend a week down there just with the family.
Yes. Yeah. I like that area. The Destin area is nice. The beaches are awesome. I mean, that white sand down there is something to behold. If you've never been down that way, it's different it's like talcum powder sand. Yeah. So it's really some neat beaches there, and the restaurants, so many great restaurants and stuff like that. I go to that area too, and I've been to the state of Destin before. I do like Pensacola better, which is kind of in the same area. It's all right there. Kind of.
I got family in Pensacola, so
yeah. So that the Pensacola beach is really cool too, and it's what I like about that one is it just has kind of an older vibe to it. It feels like you've been dropped in like the 1950s and going on a Florida vacation. So it's kind of a cool thing, I think, but. We asked Eric about getting started at Limestone Branch. Same thing for you. How did you get started at Limestone Branch Distillery?
Pretty much the same way. I was looking to change careers. I'd been doing corrections for 12 years.
Uh-huh.
And if you've never worked in that field, it's hard on you because you never see the good in people. You always see them at their lowest.
Right.
And they're always mad. So, and when you're working inside a detention center, you're locked up just as much as the individuals that are actually locked up in the detention center.
Right.
So I was looking for a career change, and I had a friend that was actually working here at the time, and he's like, look, there's an open position. I recommend you apply for it. And I did, and was lucky enough to be interviewed by Steve himself, and he gave me the job, and the rest is history with that. So,
how long ago was that? How long have you been there?
I started in September of 2017 is when I started.
Okay. Yeah. So it'll be 5 years this year. That's pretty good.
It will be. Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. So tell us a little bit about the cocktail experience at Limestone Branch. And again, not necessarily for me, I am asking the question, I've been there and that, but many people that'll be watching this haven't necessarily been to the distillery. So tell them a little bit about what it's like.
It's kind of like its own unique experience on the Bourbons Trail. They're all outside of our tours and our tastings. With the cocktails, I like to use fresh ingredients as possible. And I'm extremely picky about what I send across the bar to a customer. I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to making cocktails. A pretty sizable cocktail menu. So something for everybody that comes through.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
It is kind of cool because you're right there at kind of the setup. You can grab a cocktail before your tour, right? You can, and then take it with you on the tour.
Correct. Well, you can. It's you can grab before the tour. It's kind of limited as far as taking it on tour now.
Uh-huh.
But you've got enough time to drink it before or after you do your tour.
Fair enough. Yeah. What's the most popular cocktail that you have?
I'd have to go 3-way tie. It's going to be our old fashions. Our Bloody Marys, our bourbon bacon Bloody Marys, and of course the Kentucky Mule. They're the top 3. They're
the top 3. Okay, yeah. Makes sense. All winners for sure. And I think I've had all of those from you. And very good stuff for sure. And are you always experimenting with ingredients, kind of coming up with new cocktails, or do you do it seasonally, or is it just pretty static? How does your cocktail menu work?
Yeah, that's probably the most fun I get to have during the day is when I'm trying to create something new. When I'm working on something new, I usually get to run it through the ambassadors that I work with, and the retail shop. They'll taste it, and they'll they'll tell me, hey, try to change this or maybe add this and give me ideas on what to change the ingredients. And when we get it just right and it passes taste test, I'll let them name it and make it a featured cocktail.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's cool. And how often does your menu change? Is it something that just happens haphazardly, or like I said, is there set times of the year when you make official changes to the menu? So
the menu is pretty standard. Try to keep at least 1 or 2 new cocktails. I'll try to do a featured cocktail once a month. That way, you've got something new. I'll also do seasonal cocktails as well. Like right now, I'm getting ready to come up with a blackberry cocktail.
Sounds
that
like
I serve every year. It's real popular.
Yeah, this time of the year, nice blackberry cocktail sounds pretty darn nice, actually. All right, well, guess what? It is time for a McNew question. McNew, what do you have for Derick here?
All right, so this question might be out of the question because you just said you like very fresh ingredients, like the best of the best. But would you ever consider doing a line of pre-batched or canned cocktails to sell out of the gift shop?
You cut out on me. I lost the question.
Oh, so would you ever consider doing like pre-batched or canned cocktails to sell out of the gift shop?
Probably not. I mean, like when we're real busy, I might pre-batch our Bloody Marys. But as far as doing canned cocktails or stuff like that, not a fan. I mean, I like to have that customer in front of me when I'm actually making the cocktail so they can see what goes in it and the care that I put into it. And I want them to understand that I want them to enjoy tasting it as much as I'm enjoying making it for them in front of them.
Yeah, that definitely adds to the experience too, when you can see everything. Like you're just creating magic in a glass. So that is cool to see.
Yeah. So as you are working, the cocktail bar, who's the most interesting person you can name drop here that has come in and ordered a cocktail from you? Whether it's like a bourbon celebrity or maybe a real celebrity that we've seen on TV or something. Who is it?
I've had, I know Fred Minnick has come in and ordered from me.
Okay, that's pretty good.
I've had, of course, you've ordered from me.
Whoa.
Had Jimmy Rutledge in here. I think I've made him a cocktail.
Yeah, that's big. He's one of the all-time greats.
When you got Stephen Fonte up there giving tours, he pulls in a lot of people, and he's all the time, hey, get you a cocktail before the tour. It makes it better. So
yeah,
I probably have served people that have been real well-known, and I wouldn't have known it. So yeah. I'd say most everybody that comes to me because everybody has their own unique story.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I like about doing the cocktails is meeting all the new people, learning about everybody that comes through, and it just opens up my world. It's what it does.
McNew, does that not sound like a great bartender response? He wants to get everybody's personal story and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm sure he gets all kinds of great stories, though. Like just to hear everything you get to hear would just be a great day.
Yeah,
for sure.
It is.
We asked Eric about Steve Beam, but I want to throw that to you too, because again, I think he's such a great person, and I'd like to hear your perspective on Steve Beam and what the interaction for you is in working with him.
I think Steve's awesome. I mean, of course, when I was in the distillery, doing stuff the wrong way, and him correcting me, and you tried and you learn from him, but to earn his trust and build the trust, and he knows that you're going to be what you need to be to release his product properly. You can't ask for a better employer or a person to work for.
Yeah. That's kind of always what I figure. I mean, just my interaction with him, but yeah, it's just neat to hear how, that the experience with Steve Beam doesn't matter if you're part of the bourbon media, if you will, you're an employee of his, or you're just a customer that's coming into the distillery. It's kind of all the same. I mean, he's just a great guy. I mean, so that's really cool and something special about him for sure. What's the favorite part of your job? I mean, you have a lot of different things that you have to do. What's your favorite part of it?
It's by far meeting the people that come through here.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, creating the new cocktails and being told that I make the best old fashioned people's ever had. But it's by far meeting the people that come through here.
Yeah. I think that's obviously pretty important to what you're doing, and the fact you're adding to their fun. I mean, I think that's one of the great things about being in the business that you guys are in, both of you working at a distillery, you tend to be in a pretty good mood. When you're going to a distillery, you're not ticked off. It's not like, even other things that are supposedly fun, you might not like. So if, you get drugged to a concert that you don't like, but you're going for your spouse or friends or something like that, there could be situations where but if you're going to a distillery, typically you're going there on your own free will. And you're going there because you're one to enjoy that experience. So you're catching people at the right time and then adding to it by creating unique cocktails, I think is a cool thing. It has to be rewarding.
Very. It's for me, it's not a job. The old saying, you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life.
Yeah.
And I truly do love the position that I'm in right now.
Very cool. So as mentioned before, you used to work on the distilling side as well. So compare and contrast a little bit about those two different jobs and what you like now versus what you were doing before.
The distilling, I liked it. Creating that product from scratch, seeing it through to the barrel, and then, knowing that you did everything you could to make that product what it needs to be. Great feeling. Making cocktails is sort of the same deal. Creating a product and getting to watch what your intended audience enjoy what you have made. Also a great feeling. So it's that pride you take in the product that you're creating on both sides of it. It's just an overwhelming feeling that you can't really explain unless you're actually creating the product.
Yeah. And obviously a much shorter cycle too. Distilling, you're putting it in a barrel and you'll be like, okay, we'll crack this out in 2 years or 4 years or whatever it is. And this, you're on the other side of the bar from the person that you're creating that thing for, that's a totally different experience, but the same type of thing, just compressed time frame, right? I mean, you are creating.
I got to, when I was distilling, I got to run some of them experimental barrels that you'd asked Derick about, and we've actually got into some of the barrels that I have ran. So I've actually got to see some of the product that I created through to the finish. Yeah, as far as the distilling goes as well.
That's very fun too.
Yeah.
So last question. If we decide we want to record one of these at your house and we said, let's do dinner and cocktails, what would the dinner that you would prepare for us and what would the cocktail be? And by the way, if you answer this the right way, we'll show up and do that.
I'm definitely going ribeye steaks, sweet potatoes, baked sweet potatoes, tossed salad. And with cocktails, I'm going to make sure I have enough ingredients to make whatever cocktail that each guest wants, so we don't have to limit it.
It's custom. I like it.
All right, McNew, put this down on one we'll do next year. We're going to Derick's house.
Yeah.
I want to make this one of our first events next year.
It sounds pretty darn good, doesn't it? Yeah. So I like it. So that's good stuff. So really appreciate it. Let's hear a round of applause for Derick Mattingly. Great job. Really great learning about you. As we wrap this up, let's go to both of you and ask if there's anything you want to share social media wise. This could be personal stuff. It can be stuff for your company, whatever you'd like. We'll start with you, Eric. Where can people find you, or what do you want people to know?
So you can usually find me here at the distillery.
Okay.
I would just like for everybody to come out to Limestone Branch. Of course, we have our website, limestonebranchdistillery.com. We're always growing, so always something new to see and something new to try here.
Absolutely. All right. Derick, how about you?
I mean, I just invite everybody to come see us, meet all of our ambassadors, and get you a custom created cocktail from Miners Lounge. I mean, you'll thoroughly enjoy it.
Very cool. All right, here we are enjoying vacation, and we'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Justine, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
You can find me at JA_Maze on Instagram. You can find our shop at abvnetwork.com and on Instagram at ABV Network Shop.
All right, McNew.
I am on Instagram at McNew ABV.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out because everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, blogs, so much more. Maybe you're going on a summer road trip. We've got about 3,000 shows you can listen to, so check us out at abvnetwork.com. Please also check out abvbarrelshop.com. Get on our email distribution list. We'll let you know what's in the store, when we're going to be getting things open. Our target date right now is July 9th. It looks very good for that. Of course, some of the things are out of our hands, licensing and that, but it looks like we're going to be on track for that. And, barring any bump in the road, we should be good to go. And I'm very excited about that. So there you go, abvbarrelshop.com. McNew, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I would like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review. That includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. And if you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the Network.
All right, there you go. Well, the three of us will be back tomorrow when we introduce the next show while we're on vacation. Take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Another friend of ours is the Goldstein family at Goldstone Mill. The Goldsteins offer a variety of heritage and heirloom grains to make the finest whiskeys in the world. Plus, they are more than just a grain company. They are truly consultants to make sure the grains they are providing to you or your business meet your highest expectations. Additionally, they work with mills around the country, ensuring shipping is as low as possible for their customers. If you're a distillery, brewery, or even doing this at home, Goldstone can assist you. Check them out at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or check in via email at hello@goldstonemill.com. Last but not least is the ABV Barrel Shop. While we don't get to play in the allocated bourbon game because we aren't selling the other products you have to do to get those, we do have access via our friendships in the bourbon industry to some really cool stuff. Have you ever seen your favorite craft distiller selling some really cool limited offerings only in their gift shop? I'm talking things like the hazmat offering Distillery 291 did for their 10th anniversary, or Neely Family Distillery's upcoming Papaw's birthday barrel. They don't have enough of it to send it out to distributors, so they only sell it via their gift shop. Well, companies like Distillery 291 and Neely Family Distillery have agreed to sell us 2 or 3 cases of these offerings moving forward, meaning our store will have the access to some of the rarest whiskeys in the world. Way more difficult to come by than the allocated bourbon offerings with a national release. Yes, they will be extremely tough to come by, but if you're a customer of our store, you'll have a chance to get them. Get signed up for our email or text list over at abvbarrelshop.com so you don't miss out.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.